So what if you could just reset your relationship with your own mind? Today, we're going to go on a journey to do exactly that. It's all about reframing how we look at our biggest challenges and maybe, just maybe, turning them from flaws into our greatest teachers.
I want you to really sit with this question for a second. What if all the things we don't really like about our minds, the constant comparing, the blame, the fear, what if they aren't just weaknesses? What if they're actually signposts pointing us toward a much deeper kind of wisdom?
All right, let's start with a trap that is just so easy to fall into. It's that habit of always looking outward for the answers, when the real work, the important stuff, is happening right here, inside of us.
This quote really just sets the entire stage, doesn't it? The only yardstick that matters for your life is yours. The second we start measuring our progress against someone else's, well, that's the moment we start to get lost.
So what exactly is this rabbit hole? Oh, you know the feeling. It's when you're scrolling, you see someone else's success, and you think, maybe I should be doing that. That's the rabbit hole. It's that moment we water down our own energy to chase a version of success that was never even meant for us.
And this whole thing really boils down to a fundamental choice. On one side, you've got the default mode, measuring success against others, feeling that pressure to copy them, and kind of stepping out of who you are. But on the other side, there's this powerful reframe, trusting your own unique path. You can find inspiration in other people, for sure, but without getting attached, all while standing firmly in your own energy. It kind of makes you wonder, which mode are you in most of the time?
Okay, so once we stop looking outward, we're pretty much forced to look inward. And let's be honest, that can get uncomfortable. But it turns out our minds have this really clever escape hatch for when that discomfort pops up.
Wow, that really gets to the heart of it, right? Blame isn't just about pointing a finger. It's a defense mechanism. It's a way of taking something we really don't want to face in ourselves and just placing it onto somebody else.
So yeah, blame is an escape. The second an uncomfortable feeling shows up, the mind scrambles for the fastest exit. And 9 times out of 10, that exit is pointing the finger at someone else. It just feels safer, It feels easier in the moment. And this whole thing happens in a super predictable cycle. First, an uncomfortable feeling bubbles up. The mind immediately starts looking for a release, so it projects the fault outward. And here's the most important part. You get this brief, fleeting moment of relief, but you completely lose the lesson. The entire reason that feeling showed up in the first place is just gone.
So we're left with this trade-off, this choice. We can take the quick fix, project the blame, feel better for a hot second, and learn absolutely nothing. Or we can choose the real gift, sitting with that discomfort, unpacking the lesson that's hidden inside, and actually allowing ourselves to evolve. It's really the difference between putting on a Band-Aid and actual healing. And this leads us to a real turning point in the journey. Because what happens when the pressure just keeps building and building? What happens when we feel like we are about to break?
You can just feel the intensity in these words, that deep fear of breaking, that feeling that it's this final, terrible moment. But then, it happens. And in that quiet space that follows, it's not destruction that shows up, it's light.
And this is the ultimate reframe. Breaking isn't failure, it's a breakthrough. Think of it like a circuit breaker in your house. It's a necessary pause that stops an unsustainable pattern and creates an opening for something totally new to come in. Light, wisdom, a deeper connection to who you really are.
So here you can really see the two mindsets in stark contrast. The old way of thinking says breaking is failure, something we have to resist at all costs. But the reframe, it sees it as a necessary opening, a release that lets the light in and ultimately helps us to just be okay.
This says it all, doesn't it? It's not about being perfect and seamless. It's the openings, the cracks, the breaks. That is precisely where all the growth and the wisdom find their way in. So if breaking is what lets the light in, that leads us to one final, really crucial question. How do we approach the difficult experiences that lead us to that breaking point in the first place? This speaks directly to those repeating patterns in our lives. You know that feeling of being stuck, of stagnating? So often it comes from one thing, actively avoiding the very lesson that's meant for us, our appointed teacher. So what is this teacher? Well, it's that challenge that keeps coming back, that familiar, uncomfortable feeling, that one situation that just keeps showing up no matter what you do. It's not random, it's a lesson, and it's waiting for you to learn it. This just clicks, doesn't it? Resisting a lesson doesn't make it go away. The universe just gives you a retake. And usually the next time it shows up, the pressure's a little higher, the volume's turned up, until you finally have no choice but to face it.
So, once again, it all comes down to a choice. We can avoid what's unpleasant, stay in that loop, and keep repeating the same patterns, or we can decide to embrace the experience as our teacher, trust the process, and actually let it help us evolve and expand. And that brings our entire journey full circle. We've talked about moving from comparison to self-trust, from blame to self-reflection, from fearing our breaks to welcoming the light that comes in, and finally, from resisting life to embracing our appointed teacher.
And after this whole journey, after all the reframing, we arrive at a fundamental truth. Beneath all the mind's fears and all its habits, your true essence is unbreakable. It has always been unbreakable. You have always been okay. So I'll leave you with this question to think about. When you look at your own life, at the patterns and the challenges that keep showing up, what might be your appointed teacher? What lesson is the universe trying to teach you right now?